we've asked the judges from the categories that we thought might be relevant to the business people that we work with, and that are interested in developing their business and growing. So we've got obviously ourselves, where we do the businesses with a turnover of up to £3 million, and we'll give you an indication of what ourselves and the judges of the bigger business category, what we would look for. We've got the individuals with the business person of the year, and then we've got the customer excellence, which is really what that everybody should be looking to enter and win. And I think that's a great category as well, because it really does encourage you to get some feedback from your customers. And I think especially when all the news is bad, and in my experience, when you're running a business, what you tend to find is that it's problem after problem, and you're solving problems non-stop. And what you don't realise is what a fantastic job you're doing for your customers. They might not see all the panic that goes on behind the scenes and all the scrolling around and all of that. The fact that you're doing such a good job for them and keeps them coming back really is something that gets lost. So this is an opportunity to think about your business and your customers, and perhaps talk to them and find out that they're actually quite happy. Somebody was telling me yesterday, somebody in the room, I'll not say who it was, but they were telling me just how many testimonials they received within a 2-week period where they asked for testimonials, asked for the feedback of their customers, and they got almost 200. And what a fantastic story that was. So, I'll hand you over to Sheffield. She'll tell you a little bit more about the category that she's in.
Thank you, Mick. Customer excellence. We have been sponsoring that since the first, no, we've been involved since the first year. We sponsored this since the second year. And we've stayed with it despite very kindly being offered alternative categories for precisely the reasons Mick said. We do think it's a fantastic way for businesses to promote themselves, and not just themselves to their customers, but actually, I'm told by a number of our winners, it has an amazing effect on the morale of their staff as well, especially these days when times are hard. What a great way to show your staff that you really appreciate what they do. If you can say, we're entering this, and if you get a win or a commendation, what does that say to your staff about what they do for people? I've got my own personal views on what we're looking for, so I'm going to outline those with a couple of tips about entering generally, which may help all of them, but I bow to my other colleagues here who've got their special knowledge. Customer excellence, I think, is available for just about every business, as Mick said. We have no defining like turnover, or it has to be environmental, or it has to be international. It is available for any business to consider. So we do get an awful lot of applications. I would say we get at least 20 plus, if not more than that, each year that I've been judging. That means that we tend to look at the paper application initially, because that is a lot of people to read through and to scrutinise very carefully. If any of you have entered before or had a look at the application, there is as much or as little information as you want to put down there, and most people put quite a lot. So we do want to make the time and the effort to read those. So we will make our initial sift just on that paper application. You can apply for more than one category, and you can do it off the same application. My personal tip would be that if you're going to apply for more than one category and you think the criteria are substantially different, is consider putting a separate application in for each award. Personally, for customer excellence, I would do that. The form is geared mainly to giving financial information for some of the other categories. I don't need that financial information. There is other information that I want for my category that isn't always there. So it's worth thinking, have I got the time to do a separate application? It's not necessary, and I won't penalise people for not doing that. But if you really think you've got a lot to say about customer excellence, I do say consider putting in a separate application, perhaps for each one that you're looking to enter. With customer excellence, what we need is evidence more than anything. You can tell me everything that you want to tell me about your business, but if I'm sat with 20 applications in front of me, I've got to consider, how do I verify the information that's given to me, and how do I know that that business is doing what they say they are doing? Some businesses that enter, I know, because I deal with them or I see them. We had an award a couple of years ago from a business in Bury where not only did they give me evidence with their application, but I knew from what I knew in the business community that they did provide that. But there will be some where it isn't that easy for me to see. So we especially want external evidence to go with your application to show that what you're saying is correct. And it doesn't just have to be client testimonials, although that is an absolutely valuable way of showing to me what you are doing, but it's also what perhaps you invest in your staff, in training them in what are the needs of your customers. So not just in how to handle customers, but if your business has a specific way that it needs to handle its clients and its customers, evidence of the training that you've given your staff, how you review that training, any awards that they've had as well as yourself, to show that you are giving that value that the customer needs. And with my award in particular, external evidence is the key. You can send it in even if you apply online. If you copy and bundle it and mark it in for Lynn's attention for that award, it does get to us and we do get to review it with the applications. That isn't copying the 200 testimonials you've had in 2 weeks, please. I don't want to read 200 pieces of paper. But, you know, bringing it together, if there's particular things that people have said that's important, copies of that, evidence of that, some sort of crises if you do a lot of feedback with your clients and your customers as to what you provide for them. And also, in particular, one business last year spoke to me afterwards and asked why they hadn't quite got the award. Not in a bad way, they wanted some positive feedback or some feedback to help them. And the answer was that we felt that they did give good customer excellence, but what they hadn't put in place and should consider, because we're a fairly new business, was some way of monitoring that from their customers. And I know that they have done that actually. It's a business in Bury that I see quite regularly, and I've actually been asked for that feedback having used it. So I know that they are now doing that, and I hope that they're going to consider entering again, because they've then implemented something. And so if you've implemented something in the last few years to try and gauge the feedback that customers are giving, some way to show that what your customers are telling you about what you provide to them is important to you and that you are acting on it and working from it, is good evidence as well. And that's enough from me. That just covers, as I said, mainly my category, but that's sort of what we're looking for, and I am very hopeful that I'm going to have plenty of applications to read this year from you all. One point that Lynn did make about visiting: we don't visit all of the applicants, but we do visit or speak to our shortlist. You appreciate I can't always visit 20 plus in the timescale that we have. But if we've got questions, we may ring up and ask them initially to try and help us get to that shortlist, and we will certainly try and speak to or come and meet, if they wish, all of our shortlisted finalists to make sure that we make the right decision after that. Thank you.